All right, everyone. Welcome back. It is the 9th of July, 2024. About 7:30 in the morning. A nice and balmy 85 degrees thereabouts, 86 degrees in the dungeon. Yeah, we decided to go ahead and pull both of those off because I wanted to get a better finish on that, on these cans. And you can see how darn fan. Let me shut this thing off for the moment. It may not annoy you, but it's sure to hell annoying me. God. Yeah. Okay, there's. See how that rubber wiring is. I don't. What is the matter with some of these doggone companies? Yeah, that needed to come. You need to replace all rubber wiring. I don't care if it kind of looks good or it doesn't look like it's gonna short. And change it. You'll suffer less grief from it. This one here was kind of getting a little there, right there. Comes through the holes in the chassis. I don't think they deburr these holes very well. Now, some of them, they look like when they punch the chassis, it kind of puts a little curling on it, so you don't have such a raw edge. I noticed that particularly around the areas where the transformer goes, if there's a transformer on the chassis, to protect the wiring from getting cut, the insulation getting cut from the raw edge of the. Because if you've ever used a punch press on steel or even mild steel, it leaves a burr on there. I mean, it just, and most of the time you don't have to deal with it because it's going to be hidden. Nobody's going to be around it or anything, and you won't be able to see it. Or there's going to be a through bolting to it, and it's going to be covered up. I mean, it'll be taken care of. But anywhere like on these chassis here, where if you punch it, it's liable to leave a little bit of a burr on the thing, and I'm not really sure if they take those burrs out all the way. But if you get to moving the wires around a little bit, you will nick them with that burr. You'd have to move them quite a bit, I would imagine, but they still get in that condition right there. They still get in that condition right there, or this condition right here. And those are raw holes. I mean, they are raw. So I might take a hard stone and take a little of the edginess off of those holes right there where they come through. So anyway, we're going to be getting to these sometime in the near future. There it is. We'll mask off the transformer and everything. What I'm going to do next is get rid of this thing. Well, I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm going to take it off. And then these wires are going to go down through the holes, and we're going to hide them underneath in the chassis while we do our finishes on everything else. This here is going to have to be straightened up. That one there is going to have to be straightened up. This one here is going to have to be tightened up. And that one there, I have a piece of steel out here think it's steel. That I was whacking on here last week. I ran across this, and it's nice and thick, but it's malleable enough where I can take and put it in the vise and bend it tight 90 degrees, and it's about the thickness of these. And I'm going to go ahead and take that and make me off a piece and bend it 90 degrees, and then we're going to either rivet it onto here, or we are going to bolt it onto there. I'd rather the rivet than the bolt, because these are all rivets, but it's not going to be the same kind of rivet, so I guess it could be. But I'm going to get the split shank rivets, like I use for the back covers on some of the radios, and get this one replaced. I got some riv nuts that I'm going to use as soon as I can get a riv nut tool. It's funny, I was looking on the eBay for a riv nut kit, and in the kit you can get all kinds of, you can get SAE threaded riv nuts, and you can get metric riv nuts, and all the ones that I've seen that have the full kit, you can't, they don't include a 1032 thread or a riv nut. They do the 1024, the 632, the 832, but no 1032s. You have to buy them separate. And I'm not sure if the mandrels will fit. One mandrel will fit in another tool, a different tool. It's not made. I don't know if they make them all the same or what. So I got the riv nuts and the mandrels. Now I got to find a riv nut tool. I tell you, man, that's one reason why I have never bought a Hewlett-Packard anything produced by Hewlett-Packard. I've never bought anything from them. Why? Because they're too proprietary. You can buy the printers and everything, yeah, dirt cheap, but you can't use any generic ink in it. You have to buy their ink, or the machine will not work in a generic aftermarket, like their bubble jets, their ink jets. That's one reason why I never bought from them. Everything else, anything that's proprietary, I go away from. I run away from. So anyway, this is pretty much. Oh, and one other thing. This thing, I don't know if I can get zoomed in enough where I can show you in detail. There we go. I got to get my bearings. I got to look in the camera, and then I don't see anything, and I look at the other thing, and river. I had to take it down the edge of these and file it on an angle as much as I could get through through the rotation, all of these down this brass edge, and some of this other stuff on the looks like aluminum. I'm not really sure what it is, but I filed down the side of that, kind of give it a little bit of a wedge, a little bit, take it down, and then take the tops off the cogs, off the cogs, and then you might, if I could hold it in frame, you might see here where the shiny part, I hit that with a diamond tipped grinding tool that would reach down in there a ways and take some of that, because this thing here was almost bottoming out in these teeth here. So I managed to get that, and she's coming along better. If I could keep this doggone thing in frame. So it's a lot better than it was. There is a little, but not as much. There is a little bit of, you can tell there's something there. You can tell it's geared, but it's not as bad as it was. So anyway, we got that taken care of. I don't think there's going to be anything else we need to do with this. So we'll put that back there. I found me a can that I can put in the back there. Now it might not be exact, but it'll be something. And besides, nobody's going to know the difference that it's not the real thing, because there are no pictures of any of the backs of these, so they only show the fronts. Sell. These are the rods for the other thing. Here's the tuning shaft. Only thing, here's those two. Damn it. Shit. I need this thing glued to my eyes so I can, at least what I'm looking at is what's in frame. Here's those two C clips. This front one here is, I don't know, it's wedged in there or something. You can't move it. This one here will move around and around on the shaft, but this is the one that I had to go to in order to take it off. Here is the bottom plate. This is what that goes into. Come on, get in there, Erica. Take that back C-clip off, push it through the thing, snap it back on the back end of that flange. But you have to wait until it goes on to there in order to put it in, because it's got to go through that hole. That airline had one that had an opening that you could lift the entire thing out without having to extract anything. So now we're attempting, damn, do you think I never held a camera before? Yeah, you can get that really good. Imagine if I was more animated. People that use their hands to talk. Yeah, if you cuff them, they can't open their mouth. We managed getting some of this. getting some of this super glue liquid and some baking soda. Baking soda? Yeah, baking soda. And build this up so that we can repair it. And then we'll through drill it like that. Hopefully it'll stay in one piece, and we'll get this back in on the road to recovery. Oh yeah, the one other thing I wanted to touch base on. Hang on, let me get some of this crap out of the way so I can bring the other crap in. Yeah. Gone. That. He's the master gave me a little pep talk there about how to get that thing off. I kind of figured that was the way to do it. But, you know, I had tried to pop it with my hand, gripping both sides with my finger, and I thought, well, that's too doggone it. If it won't come off that way, I really don't want to put a screwdriver or two on it and bend it up so that I couldn't smooth it out, or take and ruin the whole thing. And besides that, marring up the dial. But the dial was pretty much marred anyway by all the flecking and stuff, that crap that was on it, because it didn't clean very well. But I managed to get it off. We're going to drill these rivets out, and we're going to put through holes in it, and then we're going to eyelet the thing back on. But that thing, I managed to get it off with this thing. And this thing on both sides of the thing, and after a little flexing back and forth, up and down, seesawing it, she popped right off at me. And so we're going to make sure that that thing is not going to take and get some corrosion on it, so that it'll never come off. We're going to make sure it's gooped up pretty good. So we got that off. Thank you, master. I've got the dial in my computer. I scanned it up, loaded it up into my graphics program, my AutoCAD, and did a retracing on it. And it's quite dramatic. So I'm going to be showing you that in the next segment. So now it's on to pulling this socket and the wiring out for that eye-tube. I got my eye-tubes in yesterday. I'm still waiting on the other two tubes for that Philco. So they should be in here probably in the next couple of days, hopefully. Tomorrow morning I have an appointment with my urologist down in Glendale, that I got to go down there and get a load of BCG injected into my bladder and hold it for 2 hours. Hopefully they don't top it off. Yeah, I gotta pull the car, go down there and get it done, drive back, come back in, roll around in the bed for the remaining hour that I have, and then expel it and do the maintenance on it thing so that it doesn't kill everything in sight before it gets to the processing plant. So anyway, we're going to be off tomorrow. Yeah, pretty much most of tomorrow, because it's only cool enough in here between maybe 11:30, 12 o'clock until about 5:30 or 6 p.m. because it was 108 yesterday. At least my indicator out here on the back porch, that thing hanging right there, tells me what the temp is out here, and it read 108 yesterday. So, and we've had fires. So I mean, the air quality hasn't been that bad here in Cottonwood, but you could see it in the air, in the sky. So I blabbed and blabbed and blabbed. So now it's time to get some work done before it gets hot. So see you in the next segment. Yeah. Look at that cute little 1 meg resistor down in that little socket. Isn't it the cutest little thing you ever seen? Yeah. That, I've never seen any that put that resistor anywhere else but in that cup. At least in this style. Guess what? I got it off of there without breaking it. Yeah. Of course, I oiled the hell out of it first and let it soak. And then I used my little surgery tools there and poked it into submission. Yeah. So, now we managed getting all that taken off of there. Let me zoom back out. Oop, out. There we go. And we managed to get it documented. It'd help if you could see it. Yeah. So, obviously the no connection point is 2 to 4. That's what that resistor connects to in there. We're gonna check it out and see if it's still viable. Everyone I ran across, nah. You wind up replacing it. Quarter watt resistor works just great in there. Possibly a half watt, well, you can get it to fit in there, but if not, you can use quarter watt. I believe you can. So anyway, we're going to continue on. We got this all, I got to remove this thing from underneath and then tuck these wires in, remove that braid, grounded braid there, and then tape off this thing here, and we're going to take and scrub this thing, get all that yuck off of it, and then we will work on these things and see about getting those straightened away. I won't be able to do anything with that one for the time being. So yeah, here's that giant sand rib nut tool mandrels kit. This here comes with, I think, 632, 832, and 1032, 32 and the mandrels. 632, 1032, and 832. So, anyway, I've got this waiting in the wings for the tool to come knocking at my door. So, let's see. I may get these out of here too. We'll see you on the next segment. All right, there we are, stripped, pretty much, not completely. Gone. Like here, show me. She may break up records. Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, so yeah, there we are. We got our documented the switch. Which switch is which? It's all together there. I hope I didn't forget anything. We'll find out. There is the off-on volume and the tone. Not much to the tone. A ground and a wire. That's about it. Bunch of stuff to that one. And a bunch of that to that. So there all them's are. So we can rock and roll on this thing now. So hope you got a little information on this video. It's pushing 95 right now. I shut down the fan because it annoys me. So we're going to fire it back up here and get to moving. We'll go out and do a little bit more on that cabinet because it's a little bit cooler out there under the Casbah. As a matter of fact, let me shut that down. CFLs don't pull that much power, but those halogens, they'll amp me out. Okay, here's what's the other knobs. They're out here waiting in the wings so that I can polish them, but I wanted to get the broken one done first so we can do them all at once. We got this all squared away, the back. Just got to get this little Wookie thingy here. That sucker there sucked up so much glue. That glue, that hole and that thing right there, I think it's a gap in the lamination. It must go all the way through here because I glued it until I almost ran out of glue, and it just kept disappearing. So yeah, we got those ready to go. We got this all dolled up. We got all the edge down through there all finished up. We got the holes in the bottom plugged up. What else did we do today? We did that one. We got this one here. All I gotta do is brush it with a little bit. I gotta sand it a little bit and then brush it with some glue. That's how I get the smooth finishes on the edge of the wood, the plywood. We got this up here. I still got a little bit more finishing to do on here to get it all nice and smooth. The front here, we're getting it real close. And by the way, I'm using a spot putty. That stuff on the insides of this here, because all this was all raw edge of laminate, you know, these pockets on there. It's going to be covered by the lens cover anyway, but I want it smooth. And then we got this up here on the top. It's going to be, the reason I did that is because these pop outs are going to get a different finish on them. They're liable to get paint, but I'm not sure what type of paint I want to get to it. I've got my outline for this night decal done already. I got to get a printout for a background so that I can experiment with the finish on the thing. It's got a gold ink that I'm going to put on the back, and then I'm going to take and run the decal paper over the top of it. I'll explain it later whenever I get around to it. Now, one viewer asked me about how I got the finishes, the reflective finish on the radios. Let me go inside again and we'll give you a look at the 145 radio that has already got a finish on it. Okay, set my coffee down. Hopefully I don't spill it all over everything. Okay, let's move this stuff over here. There we go. What I do with the cabinets is, well, in the case of that one out there on the bench, I glue it up. If I knock it apart and everything, I get it all back glued up and everything and set so that the case is solid. I get all the little imperfections smoothed out, and then after that is done, I give it probably about a half a day or probably the next day, and then I rough sand it. If it's got a finish, an old finish on the thing, like shellac or something to that leaves a grody looking, icky look to it, I hit it with a 50 grit sandpaper, and I follow the grain. I don't circular sand it like you see me do on some of the other videos. I sand with the grain. That way those deep gouges or scratches that I put in it is going to create more grain. And then once I got it all rough sanded, including everything else, then I go over it with the next highest one, which is generally about a 100, maybe a 120, and I hit that with somewhat aggressiveness to take a lot of the high points out of it, and then high points out of the grain. And then I hit it with a 220 grit to shape it down a little bit more, take a lot of the high profiling out of the grain. And then I hit it with a 320 I'll hit it with a 320, well, the 220. I will probably use a orbital on it, a DA orbital on it. Lightly over, boom, at one pass, wipe it down, and then slap a 320 on it. Do the same thing again, and then I will put a 400 on it and give it a once over. Now the 400 it'll chew through poly real quick. A 400 will. So I hit it with a 400, and then that takes out a lot of the high spots and everything, gets the grain tight. Then I wipe it down and blow it off and hit it with a pre-stain, and it allow it to soak into the wood for about, I don't know, an hour thereabouts, until she's nearly dry. And then what I will do is take a clean rag or a clean cloth and wipe it to take all the excess pre-stain off the wood, and then set it out in the sun so that it dries. It's got to dry, and then you got to hit it with a stain. It says within 2 hours, or you'll have to take and redo it, restain it again, or pre-stain it. I hit it at that point, and then I give it a chance to soak in the pre-stain, and then I take and put it out in the sun and let it dry. I get it real dry, and then I bring it in, give it a once over with a clean cloth. I like using bed sheets. I'll take my old bed sheets after they start stretching out and everything, because there will be no lint on it, not unless you wash it with a towel, with your towels. There'll be no lint on it. So you want to wipe it all down, blow it off, wipe it, make sure it's got all the fuzzies off of it. And then what I do is I hit it with a coat of, not a heavy coat, a light coat of poly. What I use generally is this Deft. Are you deft? Yeah, pretty much. I'm blind too. And I hit it with a light thing. Now, I used to use Minwax, their poly, but Depot discontinued it. I couldn't get it there anymore because it was the cheapest place you could find it. And then I went to Ace, and they had poly, their brand of poly, which they don't have anymore now. I don't know why. They discontinued all their line of satin, semi-gloss, and gloss poly. You can't get it there anymore. That was the cheapest. It was like under $10. This here, I think, is running $9.95, I think, a can. It's all oil base. It's all oil base. I tried using the water-based one product. It doesn't give you a good finish. No, oil base is the way to go. It gives you a richer look than the water base. The water-based product will, I don't know if I want to use the word blister, but it won't leave you a good smooth finish. This stuff, Minwax, the Ace product, and since then I have been using this. Now, I don't generally use this because this here is about $2 more a can than this is. So this I had to go to because they didn't have any of this other stuff. So I decided, well, I got to get it done. So I was nearing the Ricafrax, and so that finish right there that you see on that cabinet is this stuff right here. It performed good. I would recommend this or that, or the Ace brand, or the Minwax. It doesn't matter which one you want. If money's an issue, go with this. If they're out and you can't get any of that, go to that. I wouldn't go to anything else because it's too much money. Unless you only got one coat that you got to do, and then go ahead, splurge for the extra money on the can and just get it done. Okay, so back to this. I shoot it with a first coat of that, give it 2 hours to dry thereabouts, come over, touch it in an inconspicuous spot, and if it feels tacky, let it sit for 30 more minutes until you come back and it feels pretty good, and you can touch it with your finger and slide it around and it's good and dry. Watch the temperature. If it pushes more than 80 degrees, you better cool it down. Keep it in a cool spot. Keep a can of stuff in a cool spot. Bring it out, set it up, blow it down. Don't wipe it with anything too much, especially with anything that might mar the finish, because you'll always get that fuzzy shit all over it, and then when you go to shoot it, now you got a problem with the thing because it's going to look like a tribble. So what I do is I bring it out, get it set up, bring the can out, hit it again with a mist all over. A little slightly thicker mist, not a heavy one, because you'll start to produce a run, especially if the temperatures are going up. Hit it again. Okay, that's your second coat. Come back in 30 minutes, pick it up, take it into the cool spot. If it's summertime, let it cool down. Bring your can in with you and let it sit there for the next hour or hour and a half or so. In the 2 hour mark, set your timer. Come over, do the same thing again with your fingers and see if she's tacky. If not, and she's good and dry in a lot of the spots, take and bring it out, shoot it again, this time with the same volume, consistency as the second coat, all over. Now, that's generally all I'll do for that day. Every 2 hours, 2 hours 15 minutes, 2 hours 30 minutes, depending on the humidity and the other thing. I mean, it's a learning curve. Yeah, that's why a lot of people don't like doing cabinets and stuff like that, is because it's difficult to get it correct. You gotta really apply yourself to learn the do's and don'ts. Yeah, it took me a little while too. I was gun shy at first when I first started doing cabinets, and I did them almost immediately because it doesn't make sense to put a nice doggone chassis back into the doggone old radio and make it and have it look like crap, but perform like, you know, like a champ. So I went ahead and elected to start my hand in trying to do some finishing, and it worked out pretty close. I mean, I did adapt here and there and everything. All right, back to the subject. That'll be all for the day. And then I let it cure for a day. Put it out in the sun, let it bake, bring it in, cool it down, wait for a while for it, 2 hours or something like that to equalize out, and then bring it out, put it on your table, on a mat or a rug or whatever. I use carpet on my table out there. Hit it with a, I don't know, you can hit it with a 400 and then hit it with a 600, pretty much, by hand, once over, kick all the little tits off of it, if any, and then hit it with the 600, wipe it down. What I use is one of these Chinkawonkies here, microfiber, and what I do is I spritz it lightly with water, clean water. Spritz it lightly, don't dampen it. Spritz it, wipe it, just to get all the dust off of it from sanding. Let it sit for a while so it evaporates out everything. Hit it with a bed sheet. Make sure there's no leftovers on the thing. Blast it with a blast of compressed air, and bring it in if it's still cool, and hit it with a mist of poly. Let it set. Do the same thing over again. This particular cabinet right here has, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 coats. Now, they don't have to be heavy coats. The cooler you can keep it, and the drier that it is out, the better your reflections are going to be on it. I found that out. Don't do it in the heat. Do it in the cool and dry. The reason I bring it in to cool it is because when the humidity goes high, higher than usual, you can feel it. I mean, you know, you feel that stickiness of your shirt sticking to your body and everything. Yeah. Bring it in, cool it down in the dry air, and then bring it out before it starts to taking on any moisture and everything. Get it shot. Let it sit for a little bit. Bring it in. Let it sit the rest of the time in there. Do that, and you can every 2 coats, back off, go a day, hit it with a 600, and shoot it again and again, and then that should give you the finish that you will see here. So I hope you got something out of this. I know I talked your ear off a lot, so yeah, these are the brands that I would recommend. A little bit more, not too bad. Under $10 for this. I used to pay, I think it was $6.95 or $7.95 for the Minwax brand out of Walmart, but Walmart's discontinued that. You'll pay a healthy price for the Walmart stuff now. I'm not. They may have this, but I'm not sure. They might still have the Minwax brand, but you're going to pay through the nose for it. So there's those. And get the oil based. Don't get the water based. That's crap. You're not going to get. If you're going to be doing this and that with the thing, no. If you want to put this thing out front line, use an oil-based stuff. It's gonna produce a better result, and it's gonna last a lot longer. water-based stuff. So anyway, that's enough for me today. We're out of here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment or two. Let us know how you figured doing it. See you on the next one. Enjoy your hump day. I know I might.